Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see your deck featured on the channel, hang out with me and the amazing BoshNRoll community on Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, or book an individual coaching session, check out the Patreon and YouTube member links in the video description. Use the code BoshNRoll to get 10% off the best Magic apparel on the market at coalesceapparel.shop. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to order cards from tcgplayer.com, or play any deck, anytime, with a Magic Online loan account from cardhoarder.com. Thanks again for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I am playing part 2 of the Modern Rug Lands brew from Patreon subscriber Serial. I played a version of this deck last week on the channel using Dragon's Rage Channeler instead of Ragavan, and now we're here for the Ragavan and slightly tuned up version. The big picture here is we're a rug, Life from the Loam, Wrenn and 6, lands matter, pay out with lands, recur lands sort of theme. A very classic Loam deck, really. The twist here is Asmo is involved. Asmo combos with Street Wraith. You can get the 3/3 into play on turn 1. Underworld Cookbook discards cards. Seismic Assault discards cards. With Life from the Loam, you could go to hand size, but that's not going to help you cast Asmo. I don't know what I was talking about there. Cycling lands are discards. We got Forgotten Cave and Ketria Triome in here. There are lots of ways to discard cards. Channeling is discarding. Lots of subtle ways and some not so subtle ways, in the case of Street Wraith, to get Asmo into the game. Asmo with Life from the Loam is a way to keep your foods coming under the cookbooks. The cookbooks make foods, which are removal spells with Asmo, or they are artifacts to count your Urza Saga tokens, make those huge. And they can gain life in aggressive matchups, help you stabilize to get your late game engines online. Cool overlap there. The last version of the deck, like I mentioned, played Dragon's Rage Channeler in this 1-drop slot instead of Ragavan. That was an idea that I had when I talked to Serial about the deck at a coaching session. I thought with the Loams and the graveyard synergies that Dragon's Rage Channeler would be a better thing in this spot, but it turned out there just aren't that many non-creature spells in this deck. You don't get the velocity that you want out of a deck that has real cantrips in it, and the thing was rarely delirious, rarely really did anything. And what I ended up running into a lot was lack of Loam to get my engines online, or a group full of lands and no engines to pay them out. Like, I got stuck in one or the other of those buckets pretty often. And I've done a couple things to help smooth that out. Number one is the Ragavan, which was always part of the plan. I think this card will just be generically better than Dragon's Rage Channeler in this context most of the time. I cut one of the Seismic Assaults. There were 3 in the original list. I don't know that I activated it once or ever wanted to activate it in the 5 rounds I played with this deck. It was just a really heavy-handed approach to pay out Life from the Loam, having a 3 of red enchantment that also needs cards in your hand to function. I cut that down to 2 because I know it is part of this deck's identity and I want to respect that, but 3 is just too many. I replaced that with a second Slowgurk. Slowgurk is another Loam, it's another threat, it's another card advantage engine. This is just the type of thing that I want to see more of over the course of a game of Modern. And I cut to Fairy Time Raveler. There was exactly 1 copy in the deck, and this deck is otherwise rug. The white pips, the white mana requirement in the deck was the 1 of Teferi. There was 1 prismatic ending in the sideboard, and the activation cost of Tameshi Reality Architect. Those were the white cards in the deck, and I didn't think that having a card that difficult to cast, or that pulls you in that different of a direction, was something I'm interested in. I don't mind the Tameshi's activation being in the deck. That's like a secondary thing on a 1 of that. If it goes off, that's cool. If not, I could still cast the front side of Tameshi, not a big deal. But Teferi just rotting in hand was not something I really wanted to deal with, or having to fetch the white source early, not something I wanted to deal with. Teferi's out for that reason, and the prismatic ending left the sideboard for that reason. I replaced the Teferi with Forgotten Cave. Forgotten Cave turns on Asmo. It's an engine with Life from the Loam. It helps you get paid when you are loaming, helps you turn that into real cards. It's +1/+1 and draw a card with Slogger can play and something Slogger can pick up. And I just wanted another land in the deck, period. Like, I felt like I was missing a lot of land drops in my Loam deck last time I played the deck, and that's not where you want to be. So, one additional land and fewer color requirements. The only big change I made to the sideboard was a pair of Torpor Orbs. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This only overlaps in my deck with Asmo tutoring up the Underworld Cookbook and Endurance out of the sideboard. And Endurance and Torpor Orb are mostly not for the same matchup, so I think it's okay that those don't play well together. But Torpor Orb shuts down 4-color money pile. Like, that whole deck is built on Omnath and Elementals and stuff coming into play, and being able to shut that down, at least temporarily, is important. We played against that deck in the last week, if I remember correctly, and it just smeared us across the floor. Their engines were better, more consistent, and more powerful than what we're trying to set up. And I just want something to do in that matchup, and now I have it. And that, my friends, is this Ragavan and otherwise a couple of cards updated version of Serial's Rug Ragavan lands for Modern. Let's try it out. I'm on the play for round 1 with a turn 1 Asmo. You keep it. It's going to cost me 4 life to do this, but hopefully we can recoup that. And Wrenn 6 does combo with the cookbook to keep the foods coming. Pretty solid hand here. We'll see what my opponent wants to do to break it up or mess with it, or just went over the top. To be determined. They mulled to 5, so they are Tron, Dredge, or Unlucky are possibilities here. Cycle, drew an island. I'm going to play Asmo. I will, of course, tutor a cookbook. There we go. Up and running. 3/3 into play. Verdant Catacombs on your mull to 5. That's actually pretty brutal. This Wrenn was a lot of what this hand was about to be doing. Oh, they don't even care. Respectable. Well, I drew the fetch land. There is another basic forest in the list, I believe. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, there's 2. All right. I am okay giving up the information that I drew the land this turn in order to actually gain card advantage without hurting myself. Wrenn, get in there. Do it up. My opponent knows my hand is all lands, which is like weirdly comforting against the Thoughtseize deck, but maybe we'll just die here. Who the hell knows? The fact they took Cookbook over Wrenn is just nightmarish to me. That makes me think they are trying to make an Archon or something. Oh, is this Yawgmoth? Ho 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 ho! No, it's whatever this is much worse. That's a good card to have. Happy to see it. My blue sources are all in my hand. Steam Vents and Island are the 2 fetchable blue sources in the deck. So I guess I will just play it. Island, their Spellbomb, attack for 3. Does minusing Wrenn take a turn off the clock? That would put them at 9. And Asmo is a 3/3, so yeah, let's start poking. One other change I made in the deck was I changed Rockwind Triome to Katria Triome, and that's because I cut the white spells from the deck, and I'm okay with just Sacred Foundry facilitating a single... Oh, Dread Presence. A single white pip in the deck. Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield, you may draw a card and lose 1 life, or deal 2 damage to any target and gain 2 life. Alright. This Aether Spellbomb looks like it showed up just in time. They missed their land drop. This fetch land is pretty good. I'm going to cycle Wraith and try to find something here. That's not bad. I'm going to attack. Okay, they're at 5. I'm going to play Urza Saga. They still have perfect information about my hand. And do I want to go face? I guess if I plus, they can't attack and remove Wrenn. I'm going to plus on nothing this time. I'm worried about getting combo killed somehow. I'm going to bounce the Dread Presence in response to this fetch land. I don't want them to draw a card. I don't want them to gain life. I don't want them to damage anything. Okay, here we are. They didn't have a swamp to play last turn. Let's hope they don't have one now. Presence is back. They do have a swamp. They can fetch here. I imagine they have to drain and gain. Can't really afford to draw cards here and lose life. Dealing 2 to Wrenn. Okay. Going up to 5 makes sense. Do they have a second Dread Presence? How does this work? Commune with the gods. Put a creature and or enchantment card from moment into your hand. Okay. What do we got? The Rot Farm can't come. Okay, they kept the Primeval Titan. Yes. Alright. And they can cast that next turn, so I do have to kill my opponent right now. Or they have to block with Dread Presence or they lose, so that I got going for me. Oh, are you just dead? Not quite. Bummer. Alright. I can dash Rag, which there's a forced block on Asmo because they just lose if they don't block there. Dash Ragavan. They have to lose the Dread Presence, which makes Primeval Titan a lot worse. So, Dread Presence dies, and because of Heartless Summoning, it's not a trade, just dies. I got Commune with the Gods off of that. I could Commune with the Gods here. My deck does have enchantments and creatures in it. Do I want to give up on Urza's Saga to do that, though? Probably not. I think I'm going to ping my opponent for 1. That puts them to 1, so they can't tap this Nurturing Peatland. And yeah, I'm just going to leave my Urza's Saga up and hope that we can punch through this Primeval Titan for 1 more point of damage. Being a Primeval Titan deck explains why they took the cookbook, because Asmo is a really good answer to Primetime. Cool. Okay, Heartless Summoning is what we're up against. The Torpor Orb looks like it'll be good against Primeval Titan. It's not good against the Dread Presence, though. Guess I want Unholy Heat. Anger is removal. Gotta imagine this is an Urborg deck, and like the Primetime thing gets Urborg. I don't really want to bring in Alpine Moon just for that, though. What's not great here? Seismic Assault, not a big fan, and you all know that. Pithing Needle. I didn't see any activated abilities I'm really worried about. I think Aether Spellbomb might have won us that game. Just that one turn where they couldn't trigger their creature. Who knows what that 1 extra card and 1 extra life would have done. I do think I want all of my Loams. I want Tameshi. Maybe I don't want Tameshi. Maybe that's a little too slow against the Primeval Titan engine. Seismic Assault is really good against Dread Presence with Heartless Summoning in play. Like, I can just keep things out of play. Loam plus Seismic Assault does control Primeval Titan as well. I don't know. I still like Shadow Spear. Being able to go big, gain a bunch of life might matter a lot. Is this match going to get grindy enough for Jace? Maybe that's the one. Or maybe I just don't need Anger of the Gods. Unholy Heat can pick off the Dread Presence. Okay, I'm going to try it like this. Oh, I might have wanted Ashiok too. If there's a game 3, I'll think about it. Ashiok is really good against Primetime. That is the whole reason it's in the sideboard, actually. Yeah. Well, quick Ragavans here. Get him in. And this rules because I get to cast a Ragavan. And if they removal spell, I get to dash the other one. Dashing Ragavan off of a turn 2 Urza Saga is one of my favorite things to do. Like, what are the Modern Horizons 2 experience? Just 2 of the more busted cards that exist. Casting each other. I'm holding on to this Street Wraith because it can enable Asmo if I draw one. And I'm not, like, currently hard up for cards to cast. Floor, okay. Rot Farm, cool. I like how ambitious their deck is. Hopefully I can punish them for that. Maybe I can get an Explore. Rag's in there. Oh, I got your Dread Presence. I do not have black mana to cast this thing or 4 mana to cast this thing, so... Oh, I do have... I thought this was black too. I would be able to cast it if I had 3, but it's turn 2, so I don't. And that's how Magic works. Oh, I can also Beseiju the Rot Farm. That's nice. I'm going to do that. Yeah, if you want to bounce a land to pull ahead a little bit, I'm going to beat up on it. Cool. All right. That was a sweet line. I am kind of riding Ragavan by the seat of the pants here, but I think it's okay. There's Heartless Summoning, and we know they have Forest in hand. Ramanap Excavator. Okay. That is currently smaller than Ragavan, or the same size. We get a trade if they block. Ugh. Little rag flooded here. I'd be a little surprised if they block, but I don't know what's in their hand over there. They could be prime timing me next turn. Okay. I think I have to cycle Street Wraith now. Just try to spike into something to do. Oh, Slowgurk, I like. Slowgurk gives up on making construct tokens, and I can hold up Otawara. Yeah, I'll just hang out here. And I'm probably going to discard one of these rags to cookbook in the end step. Just have a food laying around, make my construct bigger. Don't need 3 of this card. Another Explorer. Found Verdant Catacombs off of that. Another Heartless Summoning. Alright, 2 mana Primeval Titans is the name of the game now. Make a construct. Gonna make a food, discarding Ragavan. See what things look like in this draw step. A Forgotten Cave is cool. That grows Slowgurk. If I float mana and play Slowgurk, yeah, that actually is pretty bad. I think I'm just gonna have to outmuscle Primeval Titan. Let's go. LFG. Tutor up. I think I want Shadow Spear. I'm just swinging for the fences. I can connect with Rag or equip Shadow Spear right now. I think I want to connect with Rag. I'm going to play Otawara. Go blue, red to dash. This nets 1 damage. I lose an artifact, but gain a 2-power creature. We're at 9, and I got another Heartless Summoning. That's not a card my deck wants. That just kills my Rag immediately. Okay, let's see what their combo is and what it's capable of. Because I have a pair of 6/6s that can become 8/8s before I have to attack with them next. With 2 activations of Cookbook. They have communed with the gods and found Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Oh, they get a creature and an enchantment. Yeah, they only hit 1 creature that's also an enchantment. I played a deck on the channel recently that rocked a very similar engine to this. Bajuka Bog. Okay. Don't care about that at the moment. Grafdigger's Cage. Don't care about that at the moment either. They're at 9. I think I want to food up with Slowgurk. Sorry, Slowgurk. Dying for the cause. Another artifact is huge. Alright, that's another artifact for free also if I just discard it with Cookbook. I want to be able to dash Rag and equip Shadow Spear. I guess that's going to cost me my treasure to do that. It's okay. Whip Shadow Spear and dash Ragavan. This is lethal. If they don't have some sort of free spell, because I have giant trample damage, and even the unblocked creatures are enough to kill them because I can make another artifact. Okay, cool. Just punch before they get their engine online. Fair enough. Ragavan showing up strong already. On to the next round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. We're just on a turn 1 Asmo rip here on the play. I'm going to keep this again. I remember doing this a lot in the last league too. I'm sure it's just a math problem of how often you have Street Wraith and Asmo in your opening hand together. And feel free to go nuts on my math in the comment, but I think that's something like 12.5% to have one each of 2 different cards in your hand. Whatever. If you want to yell about the math in the comments and fuel the engagement algorithm, please do that. Or confirm the math and do it nicely. I'll take that too. Light from the Loam was a great draw. Now the Cookbook has food to eat. Cool. I can discard the Loam itself and then start dredging, or I can discard a land and then cast Loam. Good stuff. Got a backup Asmo if they kill this one. Urza. Okay, well, need some Besejus real quick here. Suddenly my exciting start is less exciting. Okay, Stomping Ground, get in there. Underworld Cookbook. And do I want Shadow Spear or Cookbook? I think it's another Cookbook. I'm going to be discarding Loam and Stomping Ground. Or Loam and Asmo. Oh, that's interesting. Because if I discard... Oh no, it's Loam and Stomping Ground easily. Because then if I dredge Loam, spike Beseju, I can Loam, pick up Stomping Ground. Oh, that's not a Tron Priest. That's lucky. I can Loam, pick up Stomping Ground and the Boseiju, and Asmo is a legend, which reduces the cost of Boseiju. Okay. Discard Life from the Loam, discard Stomping Ground, and I'm going to Dredge Loam and try to get Boseiju rolling. Didn't get there. Didn't get there on a second land at all, so this is going to be a slow food development turn. I think that's mostly fine, though. Stomping Ground. I am going to shock this in. I am going to get the Shadow Spear online. All right, there's 2 Loams in the graveyard. Tron does main deck Graveyard Hate sometimes, and let's just hope they don't have it. God, these Tron lands are hideous on Magic Online. I don't really like them in person, but I kind of appreciate the absurdity of them. The audacity of them, if you will. But this, on Magic Online, borderless cards just look bad in general. Okay, Tron is assembled here. It is time to come up with Boseiju. Now or never deck, help me out. Misty Rainforest and Island, not what I'm looking for. Not even a cycle land to go another round. I am at the mercy of whatever comes out of this Tron pile next turn. Whip Shadow Spear, and I'll attack, and then I'm prepared to lose to Karn or fucking whatever. Maybe it's just Wormcoil Engine. I can actually beat Wormcoil Engine pretty easily with my board. Oblivion Stone is horrendous. Ugin is annoying, but like leaves most of my permanents in play. I don't know. Most of these things are bad. I just gotta hope it's Wormcoil Engine, I guess. Ancient Stirrings. Okay, it's not Ugin. They don't have the... Okay, there's Ugin for next turn, and they don't have the mana right now to Oblivion Stone. They can play it, but not activate it. That's an 8 mana play. That's kind of scary. Do I want to make a food in response? Does that help, or does having the land in my plate? Yeah, if they just, like, wish for Tormod's Crypt here, I'm going to be disappointed I discarded the land. Asmo does cost 0 for Ugin. They can just remove 0 loyalty counters and wipe out Asmoran. But the Shadow Spear means they can't plus for the Lightning Bolt. That's at least something going my way. They could set up plussing Karn on Shadow Spear, or they could just destroy a food token. Then Karn's at 6, I attack it down to 2, and then next turn they plus on Shadow Spear. It falls off because creatures can't equip other creatures, and then Ugin can pick off. Okay, they're just going for it now, which doesn't change the clock because they still have a 1/1 in play for this turn. But they are going for the Ugin line next turn. Alright, I'm still on the dredge for Boseiju plan. I think that's my best out here. 2 Urza Sagas were found. Not mad about that. I don't think they're going to beat the Ugin, but not mad about it. Doing something with 3 mana. Oh, am I getting Warping Wailed? Okay, sure. That was pretty good. And now I'm pretty much locked out of this game because my cookbooks aren't on. I can't play the other Asmo. I can't buy back Slogurk from my graveyard for 4 mana. There's just not much left for me here. Can't re-equip Shadow Spear. Ugin's gonna 0, or Ugin's gonna plus, and then Karn is also just protected. Maybe if these Urza Sagas were a turn ahead of Ugin, but that Warping Wail right on time. Yeah, a couple of 6/6s just pummeling in, out of range of Ugin, and don't have color to be zeroed out. Would have been something. I'm going to take a draw step this turn, an actual draw step, not a dredge, because at this point Boseiju doesn't help me. Just going to draw a card, see if there is anything left that is helpful. Oh, Relic of Progenitus. Okay, I'm good, I'm good. If I had any outs, the graveyard was probably going to be involved, but we're good. My opportunity to beat up on Tron came and went. I had 3 dredges. I saw 9 cards. There's 2 Boseijus in the deck. Like, I don't like expect to see one there. Just would have been nice, you know? Definitely want Alpine Moon. I also want Ashiok. Ashiok stops the tutoring for Tron pieces. Chalice on 1 is not nothing in this matchup, but it's also not good because I have a lot of 1s that I care about. These 3 cards plus the Boseijus, that's a pretty good plan. Shattering Spree could catch some of their artifacts off guard, I guess. What am I boarding out? Once again, Seismic Assault. That can pressure Planeswalkers, so it's not completely useless. Either Spellbomb. This deck is not known for their creatures, and they are known for their Karns that turn off artifacts. I like my Planeswalkers. They're going to have a lot of graveyard hate, which I don't like. But I think Loam is still... but I have Wrenn in 6 too. Alright, I'm gonna try it like this. On the play. Turn 1, Ragavan. I'll keep it. I don't even know if that's good against Tron, but I'm gonna try it. We're gonna find out together. I'm gonna get Stomping Ground here and just go in. Tron is usually not gonna win by 2 life points. Someone's just gonna fucking die, one way or the other. I'll give the Street Wraith, I think probably 1, maybe 2 more draw steps to come up with, to chill, come up with Asmo before I'm just gonna cycle it looking for Besaju's. I'm gonna attack with Ragavan before I make any decisions. Who knows what I'll find. Exiled an Urza's Power Plant. Yeah, 1 down. 11 to go. I'm gonna play this Urza Saga and Loam targeting my land that's in the graveyard. They can Warping Whale Ragavan at this point, which I don't love. Power Plant. That's the one I just exiled. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's gonna be Besaju time here. It looks like they have a Scrying or Stirrings. Nature's Claim. Okay. Playing a little defense. I don't mind that. If they Natty-tron me, that's unfortunate. Light from the Loam. Or Relic of Regenerate's beating up my Loam. I'm going to exile the Loam. Leave the Saga in there because I have another Loam. Not a big deal. Alright, let's see what we got. Wrenn in 6. Do like that. Ragavan, get in there. See what we're coming up with. I took Ugin. I'm a little short on the mana for that one. I'm going to cycle Wraith now. Cycle Wraith straight into the payment. Green, red, Wrenn in 6. Get back Urza Saga. Play Saga. Play Asmo. Asmo, tutor up a cookbook. Cast cookbook. I'd feel pretty good if my opponent didn't have 2 out of 3 Tron lands in play right now. Are we Natty-troning? Oh yeah, we are. Well played. We're playing against a good Tron player here. A good Tron player is one who just has Tron in their hand. Karn liberated. You can tell he's liberated because he doesn't have pants on. Oh, this art is crazy. I think I like the art. I just don't like the treatment of the cards. Something about that is just horrendous to me. Okay, Wrenn in 6 is out of here. I got some options here. I mean, I can attack and kill Karn. That's easy. Do I want to discard Loam, dredge Loam, try to spike Besaju and get to work? Or do I want to take a draw step, settle into doing Urza Saga stuff? Yeah, that one's kind of tricky. Discard. I'm going to discard the Sacred Foundry. My only white source in the deck, but I don't think this game's going to come down to Tameshi. I just don't. Come on, Besaju or Alpine Moon. Alright, drew a land. Wish I had dredged. Hindsight, 2020. Attack Karn, attack my opponent. I got another Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not quite there on that one either. Just a little short. I'm gonna shock in Breeding Pool and pass the turn here. I can make some pretty big constructs which do disrespect Ugin. Oblivion Stone is the one I'm worried about here. And for that one, they might give me the opportunity to sneak a Pithing Needle into play if they're not prepared. They pop the Relic. That's good for me. That means that they're short on action right now. Oh, they had exactly the one I was worried about. But they floated all their mana when they cast it. Why would you do that? You could just... Oh, no, because one was already in the pool. All right, I guess you do have to do it now. Okay. Destroy each non-land permanent. Yes. So I get to keep my Urza Saga. I'm gonna float mana. I eat my food. Nope. 1 mana short of eating my food. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there won't be a creature in the graveyard in time to cookbook it up. Alright, O-Stone happens, and then we are in Saga Town. Okay. Create a construct token. Draw for turn. That's a Nimble Pilferer again. Create a construct token. I am going to Pithing Needle Oblivion Stone, even though it already happened to me. But it is the card I'm worried about the most. And I could cast Ragavan, or I could wait to dash it until next turn and just play a fetch land now. I get to attack before I have to make any of those decisions. What does my mana look like? I think I want to... Yeah, I mean, Ugin can't... has to pick off something. All right. I am going to play the Ragavan now. I can't get O-stoned. Ugin would have to pick which one of these things it wants to destroy, and then it would die to the other ones. Or I guess it would be so high on... Oh, shit, Ulamog. All right. Yeah. Being unable to disrupt Tron in either of those games was the real problem. Once they have all this stuff going on, like, it's pretty cool that I had Ugin and Karn. Like, I was punching through that sort of stuff, but just Ulamog right here at the top end. Not beating that. Got to disrupt Tron, though, and my hands didn't really do that. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw against a Yorion deck in round 3. I'm going to keep. I have another turn 1 Ragavan. Seismic Assault actually in my hand now. That's cool. We'll see if that plays. This is probably Money Pile, just based on how things work. It's a little awkward. Oh, I guess it's not awkward. I was going to say it's awkward because I want Ragavan, but I also want a Saga too, but I could just dash it. And dashing it is usually better than casting it against the sorcery speed removal decks. If this is Money Pile, it has 4 Prismatic Ending in it. Okay, that's another reason. It also has 4 Wrenn and 6. You don't want to just lose your rag to that. Okay, here's my plan. I'm going to fetch Shock, get a Stomping Ground. I'm going to cycle my Forgotten Cave, get some action here. That's a lot of Street Wraiths. I'm going to play Saga and dash Ragavan. And I'm attacking my opponent. Ooh, Ephemerate. I could flicker my rag and get to keep it, but no thanks. I can cycle one of these Wraiths here. And I do have the mana. Okay. I could Beseiju this Rockrun Triome while I have Wrenn in play, but that doesn't do anything. Alright. The Ephemerate was almost cool. But Flicker, Money Pile stuff confirmed. To Fairy. Okay. Probably going to bounce versus Saga. Yep, pretty good. Starting to get chewed up a bit here. I still have the rag. I can hit my opponent again. I can take this opportunity to clear to Fairy. If they have Solitude, I don't get to do that anyway. All right. I'm going to dash the rag and go after their face. Because that gets me my 3rd red mana for Seismic Assault as well, which is one of the only ways I can mow down all these Planeswalkers. Hey, my very own Wrenn and 6. All right, well, I'm going to cast that. Red, green, pick up the Forgotten Cave. And I have 8 cards in hand. It's all good. Oh, I'm going to have 9 cards in hand. Thanks, Wrenn. Okay. Discard. This island is my source of Slogurk next turn. I'm going to discard the extra Urza Saga and I guess Street Wraith. Yeah, whatever. I have other discard outlets at this point, and losing 2 life doesn't seem like the best. I guess I could have cycled Street Wraith, see if I found like Loam or something that I'm happier discarding. Oof, that hurts. The Teferi to bounce Urza Saga again, keep me under this Ragavan squeeze. Glad I didn't attack Teferi because this play still would have happened, but ouch. We're currently holding up red mana. Okay. I should have used a red source here, but I'm dashing Ragavan anyway. They had the Unholy Heat. I'm going to pick off Teferi with Wrenn because I have plenty of lands in my hand already, and we're moving into the Omnath zone. Yeah, getting Stone Rain twice sucks. Here comes... Oh, so Kenzan. Alright, that's not that bad. It's tough to beat, but it's not Omnath. Yeah, so Kenzan is a every turn access to 2 creatures that can attack. Ooh, That's a creature that can attack as well. And I'm 1 mana short because I didn't make a red source last turn. I'm 1 mana short of, like, I really don't want this Wrenn to go ultimate. I could dash with Ragavan and then poke their Wrenn with my Wrenn. I think having the extra mana next turn is going to be worth a lot. Attack my opponent. Oh, I found a Solitude. No white cards in my hand, though. Lucky you. Okay, Wrenn is going to damage Wrenn. And then I can play the Forgotten Cave. I think I want the Wooded Foothills, though. Yeah, I'm going to play Wooded Foothills. And pass the turn. Yeah, this going off with Soken's on business is pretty rough. I also currently find myself 3 minutes behind on clock. I could have Besaged that in response and fizzled the card draw, but I don't really think that's the way out of here. Oh, they fucking cracked it immediately anyway. What the hell? What are you doing? You had many targets. Oh, traverse the open world. Okay, I take it back. That was smart. They were trying to get Delirium. Cool. Cool play. All right. Robert J. Nath is coming into play. Oh, no, it's not, because they tapped all their green mana. Tight. Okay, I take it back. Maybe that's a next turn play. Wrenn picking up something. Also Kenzin in hand. In my end step, I'm going to fetch my Rockrin Triome, or Ketria Triome, whatever Triome's in my deck at this point. I don't think I'm in a position to get cute with what I'm able to do. Alright, if you have Counterspell, I lose. If you don't, this game might get interesting. Seismic Assault. Okay, cool. I'm going to deal some damage to Wrenn. I guess I'm discarding Besage. Then I'll play Saga and hope you don't have another Teferi. Okay, yeah, Saga's the best thing if they don't have a third Teferi, but they just lose here anyway. They can Sokenzen in the end step, have 4 attackers, then Omnath. Feel a lot to me. Every card in this deck is really good, which is kind of the point of the deck. Here comes Big Omnath with all the trimmings. Fetch land, they gained 4, bracket and make 4 mana. Prairie Streams in your list, interesting. Wrenn 6 just bought back Sokenzan. So I can get attacked for 6 here with the floating mana. Dramatic ending my Seismic Assault. Bummer. I needed that. Another Sokenzan. They've certainly lost this game. This is what I was talking about in the deck tech of my opponent's cards are in the 4C money pile deck. My opponent's cards are stronger than mine on rate and take less setup. Just each one does enough where I'm like, okay, if I can get find room to get Slogurk into play, then Forgotten Cave and Wrenn is an engine, and they're just like, yeah, my cards are good. Good luck. Take a seat. All right, I want Torpor Orb to shut down the elemental kind of stuff. Ashiok really beats up their Wrenn 6 recursion. It also beats up their fetchland mana base, their Traverse the Ulvenwald. That's what I'm trying to do here. Chandra Awaken Inferno is an exciting way to end the game, but every creature in their deck is an elemental, so the -3, which deals 3 to non-elemental creatures, is basically textless. This can arrive and roast an Omnath into the ground. See if we have room for it. Seismic Assault, I think, is actually good here. Pithing Needle can name Teferi, I guess. Or Sokenzan. Yeah, that actually came up pretty big. Fortunately, I like every card in the deck right now. Maybe Asmo is one of the worst cards. Like, it does beat up on Omnath, but if I have fewer Asmos... Asmo is like the one thing that overlaps with Torpor Orb. Not that the tutoring up the cookbook is the most essential thing, but it is pretty bad with Torpor Orb in play. I could bring in Unholy Heat. That beats up on enemy planeswalkers. Like, I could just get off Asmo entirely, or just a little more. Have 1 in here. What does that do? Does that do anything? It makes these cookbooks really bad. Why am I cooking books if I don't have Asmos? I actually do think Tameshi is great. Shadow Spear, I guess if Sokenzan is in blocking mode, that's pretty bad. Yeah, maybe it's Aether Spell Bomb. What am I going to do? Bounce Omnath? Fuck that. I'd rather lose than bounce Omnath and let them draw more cards. On the play, Sand has Forgotten Cave and Urza Saga. I would be a turn ahead of Teferi this time. I'm going to keep this. And I think I'm just going to lead on Ketria Triumph. Get that into play, get it out of the way. I have a more efficient cycle land, so having the perfect mana source makes sense to me. I'm going to Wraith. There's not a lot I'm holding on to here with the Wraith. Okay. Urza Saga. If they do have Teferi this game, I'll at least get to make a construct that can finish off the Teferi on the way through. Besaju's kind of interesting. Like, I'd rather cycle Forgotten Cave this turn, but if they go for an Abundant Growth, I would have just Besaju'd the target. Cycle Forgotten Cave. On to Life from the Loam. Saga ticks up. And I'll play Scalding Tarn. And I guess I'm going to pass the turn. If they crack their fetch land, I'm going to crack mine as well. Because if I fetch and they Besaju in response, then I don't get to make. But now they're holding up 2 mana anyway. Now I have to wait for the Besaju, or for them to do something. Alright, there's a 3 mana play coming. Oh! Tragic. And I have the Unholy Heat, but the losing the Saga immediately sucks. I guess I'll make a 1/1 on the way through. I can fetch basic island here. So that's not even really what I'm worried about. Yeah, I'll get it anyway. I just raw dogging Magus of the Moon. Didn't even have to tutor for it. Good stuff. Okay, my Saga dies because it's a mountain and mountains aren't supposed to have chapters. Okay. Unholy Heat, you're idiot. Please don't have Force of Negation. Okay. Gonna fetch a basic forest now. Make sure. I'm gonna orb up and attack for 2. Survived the first wave. That did affect my Urza Saga, but it was kind of similar to if they had Teferi that turn, which I was planning for anyway. This Teferi can wipe out my construct. Yeah, that's a difference between having Teferi last turn and this turn. Okay, they played Besaju, which would have been their out to Torpor Orb, so clearly they don't care that much. They're a Prismatic Ending deck as well. They got a lot going on here. Mishra's Bauble, where'd you find room for that? Oh, because they're a Traverse the Ulvenwald build. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Light from the Loam's going to get back Forgotten Cave, Urza Saga, and a fetch land. I'm going to play the Urza Saga fearlessly into the Teferi and ship it. I can cycle Cave or channel Besaju if either become necessary this turn. Wrenn in 6, okie dokie. The Besaju's in play, luckily. Back Misty Rainforest, you got it. And a tap land. Sure. Gonna cycle Forgotten Cave in the end step here. Just gonna draw a card. My hand is already full of Loams, I don't need another one. Drawing lands anyway. Okay. I can shock in Stomping Ground. Play a Wrenn in 6. Red. Wrenn in 6 can pick up Forgotten Cave. And engines are online here. Let's see if my Torpor Orb can hold the fort. Oh, they have a second Besaju. My life is pain. Okay. I will search my deck for basic mountain, I guess. Save myself some life. I can now cycle Forgotten Cave and make a construct token, but they just unlocked all their creatures, so probably doesn't matter. Just gonna get Omnathed into the earth here. Yeah, this matchup's a nightmare. We're doing everything we're doing, but bigger and better. With fewer moving pieces. They're buying back Besaju here. Probably going to hit my Urza Saga. We'll make a construct on the way through. Search my deck for a land. I have lots of them. Grab another Stomping Ground. They put Yorion in hand with their floating mana. And Prismatic Ending my Wrenn. Hell yeah. Good turn. Good turn. Me over here with my cycling Forgotten Cave every turn engine, which is pretty dope in a lot of matchups, but this isn't one of them. Yeah, I've drawn a few too many lands here, not enough to do with them. And I can make Construct a 3/3, but a 3/3 is not a 4/4, not enough to challenge this Omnath and get through to the Planeswalkers. I guess I have to kind of YOLO Loam here, take my cycle, see if I find anything. I guess Seismic Assault would do the damn thing here. All right, just drew another land. All right, we're good. I don't need to see more of this. Awful matchup. I boarded in, like, I added to the deck and boarded in and even drew a very specific hate piece targeted exactly at this deck, and they shrugged it off like it was nothing. So bad news for the prognosis of this matchup at large. On to the next match. On the draw for round 4, I have turn 1 Ragavan. I have Asmo, but no discard outlet, but we'll get there. What's the rush? I'm going to keep this hand. My opponent mulled to 6. No companion. Bloodstained Mire. Probably bad news for this Ragavan. Whether it's Fatal Push or Inquisition of Kozilek or Arboreal Graze or what the fuck. That wasn't on my list of concerns, but here we go. Is this the same opponent from round 1? Like, what the fuck's going on? Alright, we're pivoting on to Asmo. Found the enabler. Right, a 3/3 is big enough to bash this Arboreal Grazer. A 2/1 is not, and if I get these books cooking, maybe I can address a Primeval Titan down the road or a Yawgmoth or whatever, wherever this is going. I would rather be able to deal 6 to it than not. Blocks Diamond, my goodness. Shutting me down. Cascading Cataract, okay, this is a Golos deck. Ramp cards and Cascading Cataract as part of the action. This has to be some sort of like Cabal Coffers deck. Cabal Coffers, Golos, ramp stuff. I'll buy it. I'm gonna attack before I do anything else. See what's going on over there. Alright, they blocked with the monkey. That makes room for my monkey to arrive. Let's get this monkey onto their back. I'm gonna tap it for black because I can. Underworld Cookbook. And little Raggy Daddy. There it is. I have the Loam to go with the cookbook. Fatal Push. You got it. They're down to 2 cards in hand. I feel like this Pithing Needle is going to find a target. I think it's going to be good. Bloodsheath Thirst. Disappointing, but okay. Boseiju Who Endures. Okay, they decided Boseiju was better as a land than as a thing that can target Urza Saga. I'm in for that. I'm going to make foods anyway to beef up my constructs. I think I'd rather just have the mountain in play. I'm going to be doing Loam stuff anyway. This gets me closer to Seismic Assault compared to the Misty Rainforest. Sylvan Scrying. Okay, this is going to get Cabal Coffers, and it's good for 5 mana right now. See if they have the Golos to pay it out. Evoke Despair, what does this do? Oh, this is going to be a harsh one. Card opponent sacks a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. Okay, I can create a creature. Alright, yeah, so they're going to kill my Urza Saga and my Construct token, and I'm going to lose 2 life. They're going to draw 1 card because I don't have a planeswalker. I sack a creature, sack an enchantment, sack a planeswalker. Yeah, sure. Okay. There goes my creature, there goes my enchantment, and you draw 1 card. Yeah, that's a way you can spend 5 mana. Fair enough. Whatever. I am going to discard Misty Rainforest in the end step, because my plan is to Loam and replay the Urza Saga this turn. Low Gurk. Okay. Take from the Loam. And redeploy Urza Saga. Do I want to Pithing Needle? I'm just going to Pithing Needle naming Golos and hope that that is the correct name. Golos Tireless Pilgrim. Maybe I should have named Boseiju, but Boseiju good for me if I draw it too. I don't want to shut off my Boseijus to go after theirs. Thoughtseize, alright. There's 2 hot ones in my hand. I imagine they'll take Slowgurk. You know, you could say what you want about this deck's 4-color money pile matchup or whatever, but the cards in this deck are unassailably sweet. You just got Urza Saga, Slowgurk, Seismic Assault. Ugh. Good shit. Oh, they took Seismic Assault. Don't like that. What does that mean? I mean, they have a Planeswalker they're going to kill me with? Alright, 5 mana. 6 mana. Sylvan Scrying. This Castle Lochthwain? What do you do with 4 mana and a land drop here? 4 black and a land drop. Blast Zone. Okay, yeah, that plays. That takes out Cookbook and Pithing Needle. I still get to... Here's the Saga, though. I'm not going to make another food on the way through. I think having these lands in my hand, because I don't have the mana to Loam this turn, because I'm going to be activating Urza Saga. Not dredging either. Cool. Another Saga. Does that do anything I want it to? think I have to wait a turn on that. I could also just play Slowgurk right now. Yeah, I think I'm on that Slowgurk life. Yeah, Slowgurk's a 3/3. The construct would be a 3/3 by the time my next turn rolls around, but Slowgurk's going to be a lot bigger than that when it actually attacks. And if they do anything to remove it, I guess there's no lands in my graveyard right now, so that's not even something to consider. But I am going to Dredge Loam because that buffs Gurk. And then Urza Saga will make a construct. Then it dies, which also buffs Slowgurk. And Cookbook buffs Slowgurk. I'm sensing a theme here, folks. Urza Saga. Underworld Cookbook. Discard this Misty Rainforest. Buff Slowgurk. Oh, I love this. Life from the Loam. Target the 3 lands in my graveyard. Alright, the Gurk has finally gone off. And my construct's already a 5/5, but Slowgurk's still bigger. And they can't kill Slowgurk now because it has 3+1 counters on it. I can remove them to bounce the Gurk. So it can self-protect, and they're dead on board. That was cool. Okay, check that one off the bucket list. Big tutor deck here. Golos, Sylvan Scrying, Expedition Map, etc., etc. Alpine Moon looks important. I don't think I want Torpor Orb, don't think I want Chalice. Chandra could be big. Either Spellbomb. And they might have, like, Worm Coils or something at the top end. We know Golos is in the deck, like, pretty 100% on that. I guess pretty 100% is like 95%. There's literally a number we could say instead of pretty. Assault is good. I'm expecting more graveyard hate for this sideboard game, though. I like Loam, Wrenn, and Gurk. All good shit. Meshy's kind of cool, too. Invoke Despair is kind of annoying because my Planeswalkers are all so good. I like the Ragavan a lot. I feel like they don't... Well, we saw Fatal Push and Bloodchief Thirst. I guess if you have Fatal Push and Bloodchief Thirst, Asmoran can be a bit worse, and you don't have any creatures. Alright, I'm going to do it like this. The Seiju, Alpine Moon, and Ashiok, all big game here. This is kind of like Tron. You should be treating this matchup like Tron. It has the Seismic Assault, but it's not doing much else. I'm going to mulligan this. I'm going to try to learn from my previous Tron matchup. On the draw, but Island doesn't even cast Wrenn in 6. Right, they're a Thoughtseize deck. I'm not going to go to 5 looking for a perfect hand and just to get Thoughtseize. Let's go. I have 2 hate pieces in here. Trust the deck. Give me some action. Easy. Always had it. Alpine Moon should work on Urborg. Uh-oh. Layers. Hashtag layers. But I am going to get this thing into play immediately. I could name Coffers, but I think Urborg is a better name. Steam Vents, Breeding Pool. I need red. Yeah, Breeding Pool's out. The double blue gets me closer to Ashiok, but the green gets me closer to Wrenn. I think I'm just going to get the Stomping Ground. Be true to myself here. If this doesn't work, I'll be sad about it. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Hope for the best. And if they besage you my Alpine Moon, that gives me turn 2 Ashiok. Be happy with it. See what happens. Stealthy Voidwalker. Yep. Did not leave much removal in my deck. Where's the Saga? Get in there. Gonna need you here. I'm gonna play one of the cookbooks. Do I want to play both? I guess I might as well. Fuck it. They're a discard deck anyway. Get in there. Make my constructs big. Get an attack for 3. I really don't want to get hit with a removal or a discard spell here because then they get whatever. Like Ashiok's pretty rough on me. There's that Sylvan Scrying. Getting Urborg. Life from the Loam. Not super interested in that. I guess we are here doing construct business. The Life from the Loam would have been phenomenal to go with the cookbooks and the Wrenn and all the stuff that's going on, but this graveyard, passive graveyard hate is rough stuff. Uh-oh, this didn't work. Why didn't this work? Okay, let me try to figure this out. Choose a non-basic land card name. Lands your opponent's control with the chosen name. Lose all land types and abilities. Lose all land types, abilities. I don't understand. Like, I'm pretty good with layers, and I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. feel like this should work. I'm going to discard my Loam. I don't have answers to Stealthy Voidwalker anyway, so it's already blank cardboard. 12 and Scrying. Yeah, I'm struggling to figure out why this Urborg works the way it allegedly does. All right, whatever. Now we know. We name coffers for subsequent games. Forgotten Cave. Okay, 1, 2, make another construct. We're just all in on construct beats here. I'm going to name Blast Zone with Paling Needle. We've now seen a Blast Zone. That's what they just Sylvan Scried for. I believe this Forgotten Cave will be better as a land. I'm going to clear Liliana right now. So typesetting abilities happen before ability granting abilities in the layers. Alpine Moon affects land types and abilities. I don't know. Sus. Calling a judge. They would probably tell me it's right. Oh, come on. 2 cards in your hand and they're Blast Zone and removal spell. Okay. Fine, whatever. Whatever. Not mad. Tameshi. What's up, big guy? Probably nothing, but here you are. Oh, I can Ashiok here because of Urborg. I could have Ashiok this whole time. Is that better than Tameshi? I can Wrenn in 6 and recover 1 land 1 time. Yeah, that's probably worth doing. I do have 1 thing in my graveyard, and the 1 extra mana is relevant here. I will take it. I can fetch the... Oh, no. Can't even use Tameshi. Return target artifact or enchantment. Yeah, you do need a target. You can't just bounce a land to draw a card every turn with Tameshi. Getting smoked by my lack of rules knowledge here. These Lockthwains are going balls deep here. There's Golos. We're in trouble. Wish I played Ashiok last turn. There's the Cataracts. 1 draw stuff to rule them all. Almost good, but not quite. Okay, crushed by Graveyard Hate, and we learned an important rules thing. Yeah, Urborg would grant the land types to everybody else in the same layer where Alpine Moon would remove land types from Urborg. Okay, I think I'm starting to piece it together. So the type swamp is granted to everything higher up in the layers. And then once that's locked in, so Urborg arrives, says everybody's a swamp. Alpine Moon at the same time says, Urborg, you are not a swamp, and you have no abilities. But they're already swamps. It's the same thing where if you humility a Magus of the Moon, lands are still mountains. Or dress down a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, lands are still all things. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. I just hadn't seen it in this particular version before. All right. Lesson learned. We name Cabal Coffers with Alpine Moon. I think we win that game easily if we do that. Whoops. Okay. Unholy Heat coming in now that I know about the Voidwalker. Asmo is also removal. Seismic Assault is removal. Maybe I should chill on Loam. Like, that card's pretty bad if my opponent has just passive Graveyard Hate. I don't think Dauthi Voidwalker standing alone is enough to bring in Anger of the Gods for. That'll kill more of my creatures than theirs most of the time. Yeah, I'm just going to bring in the Unholy Heat and just be aware that that's a thing they might do. Game 3, my hand is mostly a disaster. Double Asmo, not going nowhere fast. No red mana to Unholy Heat. I'm going to mulligan this. That's better. I'm going to keep this and ship. This is actually really interesting because Otawara can beat up on Dauthi Voidwalker, Golos, whatever. Looping it with Wrenn is really good. But I think my engine gets online better if I send the Otawara. Then I can turn 1 Ragavan and then turn 2 Wrenn in 6 or Asmoran. I can cycle Forgotten Cave and play Asmo on turn 2. Just gonna bet on red here. We know they have a bunch of 1-mana removal spells, but let's test you. Play Castle Lockthwain tapped or some shit. Ooh, Thoughtseize me. Yeah, okay. Thoughtseize. Now they're gonna make my turn 2 play decision for me. Took the Wrenn in 6, cool. Alright. Rag's gonna get to connect and do something here. Second Asmo is a nightmare. but it's all good. We'll make it work. Exiled Verdant Catacombs. A Cycle Forgotten Cave. Hey, I had your Wrenn in 6 anyway. Good fuck, nerd. And I can even tap this for black to play Asmo. That's so fun. And grab a cookbook. I think I want the cookbook in play. If they're gonna Void Walk me, I wanna be ready. If they just slam Void Walker right now, I'll make a food off of discarding the Asmo. Arboreal Grazer, that's pretty good. That might be worth killing. But unlock Thwain. Alright, I'm gonna discard my bonus Asmo. Oh yeah. Gonna have to fetch this time. Come up with, I think I want Steam Vents. Yeah, that gives me blue I'm missing, and keeps moving my red sources forward. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. Green, red, Wrenn in 6, plus Wrenn in 6, get back, Wooded Foothills, discard Wooded Foothills to make a food, kill the monkey. I could have attacked with Ragavan and then pinged with Wrenn to finish the monkey off, or the beast. I guess this is not technically a monkey, it just looks like one. Ooh, I could play my own. No lands in my hand though. But I did want the Ragavan connection. I want to push the damage, I want to get the treasure. So spewing a food off in that way. Let's hope I don't get punished by some bigger creature. But we're pushing pretty hard right now. Tradition map, whatever. Okay, let's go. Seismic Assault. Oh my god. Does that win me the game? Almost. It's very close. Seismic Assault finally earning its dinner here. Wrenn in 6 is going to pick up a land. I'm going to grab the Forgotten Cave. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 red. And unfortunately, I didn't have a land in my hand already, or else Wrenn could have been the final lethal point. But got you at 1 on board here. They do have coffers, the means to get another coffers, and Urborg available. But between Wrenn and Seismic Assault, they need to gain life and stabilize the board right now. Mapping. Getting another coffers. So this makes nets 3 mana the first time. Invoke Despair. I'm going to reread this one again. Pretty sure I'm just like sacking Ragavan, sacking Urza Saga, and then they draw a card. Okay. Oh, I also sacked the Wrenn this time. All right. Sack Ragavan, sack Urza Saga, sack Wrenn. You draw no cards, and you're dead. Okay. Cool. Didn't even need the Seismic Assault, but it was an engine. That was the best it's been. But that was the game I made the best decision setting up for it. There was a couple times where I just like didn't fetch in a way that lended itself to making triple red if I drew Assault, and it delayed it by a turn. Settling into the play patterns here. But we're 2-2 going into the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I'm going to keep this in. This is the engines that I want. It is awkward that Urza Saga doesn't lend itself to Wrenn, but I think that's okay. Like, I could just wait a little bit on Saga. I'm going to get Shadow Spear into play while the getting's good, though. Cycling Street Wraith in response. All right. Are we Dredge? Are we Shadow? What's going on over there? It must be Shadow. No other deck would just randomly fire off Wraith in response. Why would you do that at all? I don't know. Maybe just goofing around? Anical Sanctum. Uh-oh. Oh, this is Living End. That's what's going on. Okay. Sure. Do I have any artifacts that save me in my main deck? No. All right. And here's a Grief. Pitching Architects of Will. Oh, they're going to get to pick their poison here, what they want to get rid of. I presume it's Wrenn, because that's the thing I can play on turn 2 that they can interact with. And the reason you would cycle Wraith in response on your turn is because this is a Force of Negation deck. So, story checks out. Makes sense. They weren't just goofing around. And that is something you probably could have deduced. Not that it matters that much on turn 2. Like, you're going to know their Living End before they go for their combo anyway. But just cycling Street Wraith on their turn 0 in response to a non-creature spell, you can probably just immediately narrow it down to Living End. Backup Slowgurk. Alright, let's get this Urza Saga in. I suspect we're just going to get smeared in game 1, and then we're going to have to battle with sideboard cards in the post-board games, which is how Living End functions anyway. Okay. I'm going to get Slowgurk here. I'm going to use Steam Vents to cast it, because that is a red source for the Seismic Assault as well. Investing in the future. If they Living End, I get my Wooded Foothills back. That'll show them. Yep, rough stuff. Immediately snapping off the 3rd land. We're going to get ended here. Yep, Shardless Agent. Cascades into Living End. All these creatures are in play. So is Grief. Yeah, this one's not winnable from here. To the sideboard we go. I had this awesome game in paper against Living End in a local tournament recently, where I Furied my own Risen Reefs the turn before they were going to go for Living End. So pitch cast the Fury. Fury ends up in the graveyard. The Risen Reefs end up in the graveyard. And then I had so many elementals in the graveyard when they went for the Living End, including 2 Risen Reefs, that I ended up drawing something like 22 cards. And then they just died. It was pretty great. All the shit they put in their graveyard was not good enough. Anyway, let's figure out the sideboard plan. Endurance, speaking of pitch elementals, this is a matchup that's for Chalice, is for this matchup as well. Chandra can be a sweeper. Like, it does kill some of the things, but that's not really what we're doing here. Either Spellbomb seems bad. Pithing Needle has basically no text. I could name one of the cards and they can't cycle it anymore, but that doesn't seem like how I want to do this. Spellbombs, whatever. Would be good. No, it won't be. Yeah, I'm going to like shut them all the way down, or I'm not. I'm not really going to plan for a game where they've resolved Living End successfully. Dredging Loam is interesting because Dredging Loam dumps creatures into my graveyard, and then those can come back with Living End. And I am also a Street Wraith deck, so checkmate. God, where do these cards come from? I think Loam is involved. One of the Slowgurks, one of the Seismic Assaults. I'm just doing the sampler platter because this matchup is so weird that it's kind of tough to like really pinpoint like what's good and what isn't. Just take out everything that's a little bit clunky for your most efficient answers is what you're going to do here. All right, let's go. Okay, I have Chalice and a threat. I'm going to keep. It's not like this deck can't beat Chalice. They play lots of answers to it, but I am going to put them to the test to have them. Do I want Stomping Ground? Yeah, I think I do. That just sets me up the best for the most different engines. Ragarino. And here's Chalice on 0. Do you have the Force? You do. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. Disappointing. All right, time to dig through the deck. A Grief. All right, that has to take Asmo. Just looking at my sideboard. I recorded a league earlier today that had Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard, and my brain was bravely like, hey, were you going to bring in Cage? But that wasn't this deck. Unfortunate, because that would be a great card to be... Or that actually doesn't even do anything. Never mind. Take it back. Because Living End exiles the cards from your graveyard, destroys all creatures in play, and then puts the cards that are exiled into play. So the creatures are entering from exile, not from the graveyard. So Cage doesn't even matter. I'm glad it's in the other deck. Fuck it. I hope this is good. They don't have another answer. Kind of hanging the Urza Saga out here, because if they want to, like, Nature's Claim, I guess that's not a card you can play in your Cascade deck. Never mind. I take it back. That's a silly thing to say. I apologize for saying it. Exiled a Botanical Sanctum. And remember that Thoughtseize, or that Grief? Sorry! Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hold on to Forgotten Cave, because they are a Grief deck. I can cycle that in the end step, and they won't have a chance to take whatever I discard. Or whatever I draw with discard. Cycling Architects, they had a cycle to Curator in the end step. Shocking in something here. Time to cycle Forgotten Cave. Motherfuckers act like they forgot about Cave. These are the jokes that you come to this channel for. I apologize for nothing. For Argivant's getting in there, I'm going to put them to 11 life. And Sidewinder Serpent, can't quite afford to cast that. I'm gonna drop another Saga. These treasures are enough mana that I'm gonna be able to get max value out of all the sagas throughout. I guess I should cycle this Wraith, though. Like, I have spells in my deck. Let's give myself a chance to hit them. Right, that wasn't a spell, but it's all good. Cycling Curator in the end step. They still have to get through this Chalice before they can do anything. They're going to die pretty quick starting now. The constructs are arriving already as 5/5, 6/6s. They're actually dead on board. They might have to play a Shardless Agent just to block. All right. Brazen Borrower keeps them alive for a turn. Oh, unfortunate. If I use the treasures to make Saga tokens, then that's treasures that aren't representing damage, and I do want to keep lethal on board here. I am attacking for 8 if they have nothing. I get Cookbook. That can make more artifacts at instant speed. Play Scalding Tarn, and I'm going to attack for lethal. Hell yeah, that second Chalice post Thoughtseize, little vampiric tutor. You love to see it. Don't think anything changes. Just like, I think Needle Naming Curator of Mysteries seems so medium. Don't have any counter spells. I don't want to play a game where removal is important. Alright, this is the deck that I have. Let's go. They didn't see any endurances that game, so that's good. Still have some secret technology. Loam, Chalice. Chalice is good. My opponent snap kept 7. I'd assume there's a Grief or a... I'm not going to mulligan a Chalice hand. Just is what it is. Gotta assume there's a Grief or a Force over there. Yeah, there's Grief pitching Living End. Strip my Chalice. See my otherwise embarrassing hand here. We'll just draw the other Chalice. Don't worry. Cookbook. I am going to fetch Shock rather than... because I want to be moving towards the Ashiok or the Seismic Assault. Loam's a good one to discard and start making food with. Are there any lands that help me here, or do I actually need to take draw steps? No, I need, like, endurances. Okay, maybe I'm not going to make food right now. I'm going to hang on to cards in my hand. Am I supposed to cast this Loam? That picks up 2 cards. Yeah, that's probably worth doing. Get Stomping Ground. Cast a Loam. I got those back. Not that they're helpful. We could be facing down all of these creatures as soon as this turn. No endurance in sight. Come on, ship it. Cracking that 3rd mana in the main phase. Yeah, alright, we're dead. I'll take some draw steps, but I really don't think there's anything I can do here. I'm going to discard Underworld Cookbook to make a food, because they're going to take it with Grief anyway. And now Grief can take Loam, which is whatever, but I think Needle on Curator of Mysteries might have actually won this one. Alright, yeah, we're dead. Yeah, they had the interaction for the Chalice. Like, my other option is mulligan to 6 or 5 looking for 2 pieces of hate, but then I'm on 6 or 5 and they're gonna Grief me anyway. And then I just have 4 cards to play the game on. Yeah, that's just a powerful deck. That comes out quick. Though we do have a surprising number of tools for the matchup. Another 2/3 performance. I believe that's what I went last time as well. And my issue at the end of the last league was the same as it's going to be now. Like, hyperlinear decks with one plan and effective disruption. Like the Cascade decks, like Bogles, like Burn, are probably trouble for this deck that's really trying to get multiple different, like, cards moving around over the course of a multi-turn plan sort of engine online. Those decks are pretty rough on us. 4-color control, pretty sure just completely unwinnable. I don't even know what you could do to solve that matchup. Seems absolutely heinous. The normal trick of, like, blood mooning a 4-color deck doesn't even work because they blood mooned me and it sucked. Yeah, that was bad. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that matchup. I can't even think of a configuration that would make that even better, much less favorable. As far as any deck that's gonna, like, give us time to do stuff, though, we did a lot of the cool stuff here. We never drew Jace or Chandra at any point in this entire league. Unfortunate they didn't show up. Ragavan doing duty, though. Like, the Ragavan's so much better than the Dragon's Rage Channeler was. I think I connected with Ragavan more in this league than any other 5 matches of my life. That was pretty impressive. I do like that they have to address or acknowledge or in some way just suffer from my one drop rather than it being just DRC, which feels my engine maybe. Much better with Ragavan, absolutely. Seismic Assault did actually come up a couple times this league. The card is cool when it's going off. It is hard to cast though, and I boarded 1 out a lot. 3 was definitely too many. I don't like it. I would honestly probably play 1 and just let my draw engine find it when it's time to find it. Slowgark was great. I'm glad I added another one of those. Only really got to go off with it once, but wow, this card's impressive when it's doing its thing. I'm wondering if maybe the 4 mana Planeswalkers should be just something else. Like, this just feels like at some point you're either like dead early or you're spinning your wheels, and the onus is really on you to draw your cards in the correct order where you have enough resources to play the game, but they are relevant resources. Like, you can't play the game with just like 6 lands in your hand, which is what Loam decks. It's the job of the Loam deck to mitigate. Urza Saga is really good at that. This is a rug deck. I hate to say it, but Expressive Iteration is legal in the format. Maybe Chandra, Jace, and one of the Loams, or the second Seismic Assault. Maybe all 4 of those. 1 Loam, 1 Seismic Assault, Jace, Chandra, just 4 EI. And we're cruising. I kind of like the Jace and Chandra, though. That, like, you need to win the game. Tameshi might be a little cute, especially where playing an entire white source in the deck just for Tameshi. Like, this Sacred Foundry could be another fetch land. It could be another on-color land of some kind. A Loam, a Tameshi, and a Seismic Assault for 3 Expressive Iterations. I think the deck improves if we do that. This deck also lacks removal outside of the sideboard Unholy Heat or getting Asmo online with 2 foods. Seismic Assault is supposed to be doing that job, but it's a really awkward way to do that job. It's a 3 mana spell in a deck where you're incentivized to play a colorless land, and it has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands in the deck that don't even cast it. 7 of your 26 lands don't tap for mana for Seismic Assault. Oh, that was 7 non-Saga lands. 7 lands other than the Sagas. So 11 lands in your deck don't cast Seismic Assault. That gives you 15 of your 26 lands. And 1, 2, 6, 7 of those are fetch lands. And if you use a fetch land to go find Breeding Pool to like get Wrenn and 6 or Slowgark online, that's a possible red source you've used to be a non-red source. I don't really know how to math out a fetch land as part of a mana base when you're talking about curving out into colored spells. Like, that's conceptual math beyond my understanding. I just sort of eyeball it. But Seismic Assault's not going to be a turn 3 play most of the time. And by turn 5 or 6, when you're ready to deploy it, you've probably made all your land drops by then. I just don't think that leaning on Seismic Assault as a removal spell is the way. I know Serial is really into Seismic Assault. We talked about the card specifically when we had our coaching session where we worked on this deck. I really hate to say it, but I think just adding like 3 or 4 Expressive Iterations and 2 Lightning Bolts, cut all the Seismic Assaults, cut Aether Spellbomb, and just become like this rug value lands deck rather than this like moving pieces actual Loam deck. Also, if you cut the Asmo stuff, that's 8 deck slots that just become wide open. You could play your Lightning Bolts, you get to keep your Seismic Assaults, you could still be a Saga deck, you could still be a Loam deck, just Asmo. And that actually opens up 12 slots because you're not playing Street Wraith if you're not playing Asmo. Like, that just cracks the flex slots wide open. You might get to build out your Saga package a little bit, actually play removal. There's your EIs right there. You get to keep all your other cards. Then it starts to become a different deck. And I know Serial likes what's going on here, and I have offered my thoughts on what's going on here. If you, watcher, viewer, want to pursue rug lands or rug Loam in Modern, I think you probably want to lose the Asmo stuff and lean into just raw card advantage, good, like modern cards basically. We're in blue red. There's other colors too, but we're also in blue red. There's plenty of great cards you could be casting. Rebalance this mana base enough, you might be able to play counter spells in it. Maybe not actual counter spell, but some type of counter spell. Maybe like negate or mana leak. Because you're never gonna have blue in this deck. But yeah, like some sort of counter-based interaction. Maybe you could play more planeswalkers in the main deck. Like get some main deck Ashioks or main deck your Endurances. That would shore up a lot of tough matchups. All right, I'm just sort of naming all the cards in Modern right now. I'm going to stop. I'm rambling. Serial, this is a really cool deck. A lot of cool engines. I think it's a little clunky for the power level of Modern, and it has an unwinnable matchup against the best deck in Modern, which is a really tough place to be. But lots of cool stuff going on here. Ragavan definitely better than DRC. Slowgurk, MVP. And everyone who isn't Serial, if you want to play Rug Loam, I've given you some ideas to open up a lot of slots in the deck building process for that too. Thank you all for watching. Serial, thanks for asking me to do this twice. Everybody make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the links to my Patreon and Discord community and all of those things. Buy some shirts from Coalesce. Use the code BoshNRoll at checkout for 10% off your order. Do all that stuff, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.